Well, good day. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Q and CCA. I normally start by saying I'm super excited about this episode, which obviously I am, but I can also admit that I'm a little nervous. I am meeting someone for the first time, and we're doing it over a web series, and we're live in front of each other. And I'm joined by Donna Beyak, an Edmonton winner in the category of hair salons. So now hopefully you can understand why I'm a little nervous or intimidated as I'm 16 weeks into what's going on here up top without a haircut. But Donna, it's great to meet you. And thank you so much for joining us on this web series that we're doing. So Donna, why don't I start, introduce yourself and tell us more about your place, the Mensroom in Edmonton.
My name is Donna Beyak. I am an owner of a business in Edmonton called the Mensroom. It's coming up almost, I think it's 18 years now. We're going 18 and a half. And this is our second location. We've expanded in 2012 from 1,000 square feet and not really knowing, the male market and how it would respond. Back then in 2002, we were the only ones. We were the first ones to actually open a men's hair salon. So we're considered more than a barber because we take into consideration, everything about men's grooming from, any haircut, any guy, any age, doesn't matter. So that's what I wanted to get across, was that we would be the best in the haircutting back in those days. So the training was pretty extensive. And then we moved over in 2012 to 3,000 square feet. And I've got 9 barber stations and a large reception, retail area, spa. And we also have a dirty little secret, which is we do take some wives and girlfriends. So we have a little back area the decor is different. It's soundproofed off, but the business model is still focusing on men, catering to men, and, basically making the guy comfortable wherever he goes for his haircut.
Well, how quickly can I get on a flight to Edmonton from Toronto? Is that are those operating yet? That sounds great.
Yeah, I don't know, Jeff, but the training is what's important. Because there really wasn't any training when I went to school for men's hair cutting. So that's why, this Consumer's Choice Award, we got it in the haircut category. So it wasn't in the salon category. It was actually in the hair cutting category, which at first I was a little bit like, what's wrong with my salon? It's beautiful. But actually I'm more proud, to get that award for the haircutting, because technically it puts us up there. So yeah, and then since then I've got probably 12 stylists or barbers that work here full time. So we're pounding them out.
That's great. It's been 16 weeks, and my wife has been very eager to cut my hair. And I said, I'm sure you can appreciate this, but I will stick to a professional. I've got, I'm nervous to turn my head to the sides, but I completely appreciate everything that you're saying, and about about a hair salon or a haircut. But really, it's regardless of how someone would label it or talk about it, as it relates to what you've won and the history of your place and how you've evolved. People still look at someone and they say, "Where do you get your haircut?" And and what's great about your place is obviously your reputation speaks for itself as you continue to win this award. So that's great. You mentioned, COVID. You mentioned sort of COVID haircuts and whatever it's going to be. But I do, we are still in this pandemic. I have talked in past episodes about maybe our focus is shifting more about coming out of this pandemic. But I've also been very deliberate with the companies I'm going to speak to over this next little while, and including yourself. I was thrilled when you reached out to say you'd want to be a part of this, because, getting your haircut, going to a salon, that's a hands-on experience. There is definitely a level of intimacy there, and this is probably for a lot of businesses their first pandemic, right? And I'm curious to know. I'm sure you were so eager for the announcement to come that your place could open. However, provincial guidelines, procedures that you had to follow, there must have been some serious challenges. So I'd love to hear, as I'm sure the viewers watching today, as much as businesses are rushing to get their doors open, how, for a place like yours, hands-on, intimate with the customers, what were the challenges that you faced to get your doors to reopen?
Well, as you said, there was no guidelines. We had no provincial guidelines coming to us whatsoever. We were told that that we may possibly be able to open on May 14th, and yet there was no confirmation of that. So the fears from my staff on a regular basis, I was getting hit with, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" And I said, "Yeah, we're going to act as if we are going to open," without any guidelines, without any knowing anything, procedures about PPE and whatnot, to be put into place. So my partner and I spent hours, absolutely hours and hours, couple of, days, maybe even a full week, looking into what other places and states in the United States and other countries were doing. I'm lucky enough that I have a lot of friends around, and we sat down and basically had to build our own guidelines and prep the salon, the entire salon, removing reception areas, taking away coffee machines. We're a full service salon. Like, we had to close our fridge. We have a bar fridge and a bar area. We had to shut everything away. We also had to protect our team. When you have that many people coming back into work, luckily our design of our shop, or our stations, are 6 feet apart. That was never a problem. And we ordered all the face shields and masks and gloves, not really knowing how our staff was going to feel about it. So eyeglasses, face shields, masks, gloves, wipes, all of the PPE that came in. And then, knowing that we were slammed, once we got the okay to open, which was the day before, so on May 14th, we already had online bookings. We had opened up our online system a week prior, and we still didn't know if we were going to open on the 14th. So the 13th at 4 p.m., that's when the government announced that we could open, and we were all just like, "Ooh," thank goodness. And so when the doors opened the following morning, my team was all, decked out, ready to go. We did not shampoo. We did not blow dry. We literally just wet the hair down, cut it, styled it, see you later, next guy in. And in between, we had to clean everything. We had to sanitize every chair and every touch surface. So, we made everybody wash their hands. Every guy that came in had to wear a mask, had to wash their hands. We had a few that grumbled, like they couldn't believe they had to wear a mask to get a haircut. But I'm not just protecting the customer, I'm protecting my team. Because if one of my team comes down with this, we've got to shut the whole place down. So it was really hard work. Well, and their anxiety and their fear was really apparent. I had a few that I really didn't think was going to come back. One said she wouldn't. She'd like to wait. So.
Well, that's, I'm glad you bring that up. And sorry, I really want to make sure that you continued this point, because that's, before you continue, I'm a consumer and I have my own fears and apprehensions about, getting my hair cut or getting my teeth cleaned. But I think selfishly, probably like a lot of consumers, I'm not thinking about the other dance partner in this equation. And, I'm curious. I have my own fears and apprehensions, but I'm curious to know about the conversations you had with your staff, because yours and your team, your own fears and apprehensions, you're the common denominator with all these people coming through.
I have a partner here, and she's on the other end of the spectrum. I'm like, let's get on with things, like it wasn't we're on two ends of the spectrum. So when you talk to your team and you're saying, okay, how are you feeling? Are you ready to come back to work? If we got you everything that we could regarding your safety and your well-being, are you comfortable? Because it's our responsibility. Mm-hmm. It's, as an owner of a business, it's our responsibility to make sure that my team and my staff is completely comfortable and confident in coming to work and being able to, carry out their job. So if they weren't comfortable, we were willing to say that's fine. And also we had that 15-person limitation in the business. So we could only bring back half of our team, in the beginning until the phase 2 hit, and then we were allowed to bring everyone else in. But, we had to be very mindful of numbers at that time too. But my teams, most everybody who saw that we had gone to so much work and so much research and expense, 6,000 or so spent on all the PPE and the cleaning and whatnot. I had the entire place disinfected professionally. So, it was not cheap, no. And just letting them know that kind of calmed their feelings. So I think that was a good move on our part.
Yeah, well, I'd say outside of the expenses you poured in and the time and the effort and bringing professional cleaners in, I think there's something admirable about how you started that which was essentially, as a business owner, and that really, I think, is great leadership. You started with asking your staff how comfortable they were and how do you feel. And, I know there's not a lot of owners that have that mindset. So, I'm sure your team really appreciates that because, Don, we talk about, sort of like fears and apprehensions, but, part of sort of the whole equation, we don't have to get into this in this little Q and CCA, but, there's a whole mental health component to this as well. And people, as you mentioned, are on different ends. There's people who think I just got to live in a bubble, and maybe I'm a little bit more on that side. And, there's people who, come on, let's just get at it and be safe, right? And, and then there's everyone sort of in between. And, so I think that's really admirable that, the first thing you did was you asked. You're still doing everything as it is to prepare everyone.
Yeah.
You're asking the question first. So I think that's great. Now, so the challenges you face, the fears and apprehensions of your staff, half staff, full staff, now you mentioned to me earlier that you had as a way to motivate or just something to lift their spirits for their first day back. You had a surprise for them as they approached the business. Can you tell me more about that?
It really got my mind rolling with how do we use you, but use our awards. Yeah, we're going to use you guys. We're to sort of market ourselves, but also I had ordered a huge, like, enormous sticker, your logo, for the front window of my business. Yes, because I'm in a shopping common area. Okay. I've got Save On Foods, I've got restaurants and bars and other things around me. But I wanted that sticker to scream out, to the public, yes, but also I didn't tell my staff because I wanted for them, when they drove up and got out of their car on their first morning back, that just stared them in the face, and it really did work. I have to say that it worked. They came in, they were saying how cool it was, and oh my God, and like it sort of pumped their tires up, quite a bit, and kind of also acted as a little bit of a distraction with all of the other things going on. They just thought it was great. So, and I'm telling you, for all of the other award winners, it's not that expensive. It was, a little over $200, but it was.
How big are we talking? How big are we talking? Is this sticker?
It's big. It's like maybe 3 feet by 3 feet round, and then it's got the header on it.
I love it.
It's your logo, but it's like yeah, it's big.
Well, that's
Yeah.
great. And, and again, you said use us, but, I'm trying to think of another word to replace it with, but you should take advantage of us even, right?
Yeah.
This is what we're here
Yeah.
for. And, I mentioned you earlier, part of our conversation before we started, really it's our mission is twofold. It's one, it's to tell the story of our award winners.
Yes.
We're proud of who we've partnered with. And we're so fortunate that we're aligning ourselves with the companies in each city that are deemed the best. So these are easy stories for us to tell. And then the second part of that equation is, we really think that we're doing consumers a service by showing them or making their decisions easier, as in these are the companies other consumers have said are the best at what they do. So we're really proud of our partnerships. And hey, if our logo is 3 feet by whatever feet on your storefront, hey, we'll take it too. Right? There's no using
Well,
us in
like,
that equation. So
yeah,
thank you.
and the Consumer's Choice Award, is different. There's other award programs out there for businesses and entrepreneurs and retailers and whatever have you. But I have to say that the most recognized award would be the Consumer's Choice Award to the consumer, obviously. Also, I didn't have to, I mean, it's hard, you have to understand, being in the business of men don't like to be sold on things. Don't try to sell me, I know what I'm doing, kind of thing. So it's hard enough for me to sell them a bottle of shampoo. I can't even imagine if I had to recruit my customers to go onto some website and vote for me or like my, something. And, so trying to rally up votes, myself, I just had no interest in. And then finding out that Consumer's Choice does not work that way, that you have a whole system, that gets us to where we are today, which is an award winner. I don't have to recruit people. This is something that you guys have done through your research and your homework. And whether you're in our province or any other province, it doesn't matter. I just think that Consumer's Choice Award is heads above anything else that I've seen out there.
Wow.
So that makes a difference for me when I'm talking to my customer and they're saying, wow, you won a Consumer's Choice Award. And I'm like, yeah, thanks, congrats, thanks, So it brings a whole different level of, a partnership, appreciation, and whatnot. I mean, I'm sounding like I'm just preaching, but honestly,
Well, Donna, I was going to
I've been in
say,
this industry for almost 40 years, and I've never, ever, ever been so honored. Crazy.
well, Donna, I'm touched. That is really, really, really great for myself to hear, and I'm sure all the other award winners who have been nodding their heads as you've been saying that to hear as well. So, I really, really appreciate all that you shared. And I was going to say, this fall, when we launch Edmonton again, and normally I do this presentation, since I'm probably not going to be able to come to Edmonton, are you busy? Do you mind doing my presentation to the new crop of winners in Edmonton this year?
Oh, I think it would be great. I'd love to do that. Honestly,
Cool.
I do. I can tell you that, once we opened up our website and we got new customers those first 3 or 4 days, and customers were coming in, I'd never met them before, and I'm always asking, so how did you come to be here at the Mensroom? And they said, well, I Googled this or I did that. And I'm telling you, so many times I had customers say, well, I saw that you guys won an award, or I saw that you guys won the Consumer's Choice Award. So I'm kind of wanting to check you out, so it has helped. It has helped grow our business.
Terrific.
So I can't, nothing, I didn't know what else to do, so it adds confidence to my staff, makes me feel damn good, but it also brings in, revenue. So.
Well, thanks, Donna. This is, I've really appreciated everything you've shared, not just about Consumer Choice Award. My my intentions were to ask about the surprise you shared, and now I myself have been pleasantly surprised. Thank you so much for saying so many nice things about CCA, but also thank you so much for all that you shared about, being open and honest about the challenges you faced as you sort of were scrambling to hit a deadline that may or not even happen, and all that you did. That's probably, I know other winners watching this can appreciate the insights you've shared. But also, I really appreciated what you shared about from your side of the business, which is a hands-on, intimate with customers, your own fears and apprehensions, and your partners and your staff, and how you, as an owner, navigated those waters. I think that's really important for all of us watching here today. I know there's some things that just hearing you speak, I've jotted down to apply to my own team that I have at CCA. So thank you for sharing that with me and everyone else. So
well, you're
Donna,
very welcome.
Yeah, thank you for your time. Really great to meet you in person. I look forward to a day where we can meet live and in person, hopefully very soon. And again, thank you for all your time here today.
Well, thank you so much, and it was really a pleasure to meet you. And if you ever do get out to Edmonton, save your hair. I'll shout you a haircut.
Right. Well, then you'll save my hair. So thank you.
And you can see my sticker on my window. How about that?
I can't wait. I can't wait. Well, thanks, Donna, and thank you all for watching and joining us for another episode. I have, normally I do a shout out at the end of this to say, I'm looking for more people to participate. Right now, I've got a long queue. So thank you to all those who've reached out, and we've got things organized. However, saying all that, if you do have a great story that you feel you really want to share that other winners across Canada could benefit from hearing, reach out to me anyways. I'd love to hear that, and I'll always find a way to squeeze you in if there's a great story to share. So again, thank you all for watching, and a special thanks to Donna for her time here today. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye now.